It is Tuesday, June 8th, 2021, 2 p.m. This special meeting of the Board of Commissioners is called to order. City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Mayor Hendricks.
Here.
Vice Mayor Price. Here. Commissioner Hodges. Here. Commissioner Andrews.
Here.
Commissioner Hudson.
Here.
The floor is open for public comment. If there's anyone that'd like to make public comment on anything not on today's special meeting agenda. Okay, agenda topics, City Manager's contract extension, Board of Commissioners. The floor is open for discussion.
I'll be happy to kick off if nobody minds. I brought it up in the first place, so I might as well talk. Let's keep this in perspective. This isn't I think there's been some chatter around town that this was we're going to hang them or something like this. No, this isn't about firing somebody or embarrassing anybody. This is about, the fact that our city manager 2 years ago signed a contract, okay, that had an extension, had a date and an expiration date, right? In signing a contract, it makes him different than every other employee here. There's a lot of benefits to signing a contract with this city. But a lot of people sign contracts, right? Athletes sign contracts. 7-Eleven guys sign contracts. I'm sure when the vice mayor was a partner in a law firm, there was an employment contract there as well, okay? All these contracts, for the most part, have a specific end date, okay? So as we're looking at this, that's what we're looking at today. We're looking at the fact that we have a contract that's expiring in August, okay? And frankly, we don't have, I really don't even know what other thing we can do at this point other than to start interviewing for other people, because we don't have a contract from the current city manager in order to move forward with or even negotiate at this point, even if that was what we were looking at first. If this were me and I was in this position, and I've been in this position, I would have had a contract in front of my bosses 5-6 months beforehand. I would have. And then try to negotiate it out, see where we go, and then open it up. Now we're kind of against the wall, but I don't think, 2+ months is really going to put us in a hole. I think we owe it, because this contract is expiring. We owe it to our citizens, okay? We owe it to our staff. We owe it to ourselves, for that matter, to go out and seek and see if there are other options for us, okay? That's what I think this conversation should be about today, okay? It's our legacy, guys. This is what, the majority of those boards never hired a city manager. In fact, if you guys remember for when Bob came here, it was almost like he was the last one standing in the room, because our esteemed board at the time didn't think we had anybody that could hold on to the reins long enough, or we were hiring and getting rid of people left and right, where they weren't taking the job because of votes, 4-1 votes or 3-2 votes or whatever the heck it was. But now we have the opportunity, and it's the only opportunity where some of us are going to get during our terms, to actually look around and see what else is out there. We've got some people that have been involved in government for a long time up here. We have some folks that have been citizens of the town for a long time that know a lot of people. I think we owe it to ourselves to explore other options. And like I said, I never wanted to turn this into oh my gosh, he didn't do this or he didn't do that. If we do want to have a debate on it, or we do want to have a pros and cons of why we should keep them or why we shouldn't, I'm not even sure that that's even an option at this point, because we don't have a contract to look at in order to move forward with, okay? So my recommendation, let's open this up. Let's open this up to other candidates. And when I say somebody with local knowledge, I don't mean one of the fishermen behind my store. I mean, somebody with Pinellas County knowledge, somebody that has contacts in the county and state that we can get answers to. Somebody's got some experience in this area that's dealt with, seawalls and dealt with different things, marina-wise. That's my opinion. I think that we owe it to ourselves to take a look around. Let's open the job up, and let's see where we're at, and then we can always adjust from there. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, I have a remark. You said to put this through an RPF to see who else is out there, and this is just going to be something locally, or did you want to go national on it?
Commissioner, I don't even think we have to make that decision right now. I think we got to decide whether we're going to do it or not, and then we can decide how we want to break it up. I mean, you can do a local search for a month, and then if we don't find what we're looking for locally, then we could put out a national or, RFP or something along the lines of that. I don't know. I think we're going to be surprised at the candidates that are out there. I think we are.
I remember when Bob was hired that night. I remember he sat in the audience, and I don't think he even spoke that night. I think you were just here for the evening, but I don't remember you speaking that night at all.
Actually, they didn't want me to speak. I was told when I came in that there was going to be an interview process, and there wasn't. And I came in as the interim position.
Right.
And I sat in the audience with another gentleman that was being considered. And then during that meeting, the motion was made, and I had to turn around and be back in, I think it was 2 or 3 days, if I recall the exact time frame. But I willingly did that. Okay,
so by doing this RPF, would the city manager still have the opportunity to do the RPF also and put in his information, what he wants us to know?
Yeah, once again, we can make that decision after we decide to open it up. If you want to open it up, and I think it's probably, a very nice courtesy to open it up to everybody. So of course, I would include the current city manager.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I think I'd like to add that I think Deer Beach is a little complicated in that we've got a lot going on here, and there's a lot of different personalities to work with, and I agree. I think we need to open this up and maybe look for someone with a skill set that really fits our town a little more so than how Bob was kind of drafted at the last minute. I would like to open it up and see who else would be interested in being our city manager and comparing them to whoever else applies. So, it's never easy to make these kind of decisions, but it's not the hammer coming down necessarily. And frankly, Bob's been just very much a pleasure for me to work with. We've gotten along great, but that's not the case with everybody up here. And I think it may be best for the city to open this up for others.
By putting it under an RPF, though, with Bob Daniels being one of the applicants, I think that would probably be the best thing to do, because I never really had a chance to sit down and discuss it with Bob at this point. And I like that idea of doing that, plus if there was someone else. But I do want Bob to be mentioned in this as far as submitting his application and what he feels his job performances would be at this time as far as a city manager. That to me would be very important. So as far as I'm concerned, if you want to do an RPF, that's fine, but I do want Bob Daniels to be listed on there as an applicant to apply for this.
I think just for the sake of continuity, we've had so many people coming in and out of the government that I would prefer that we kept the current city manager for another few years.
I personally don't have a problem with that, but to open it up and make it available to everybody else, an RPF would be the way to go with it, to bring other people in to see.
When you say RPF,
I think it's RPF.
RFP, but yeah, I don't even think we have.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, we can just do a search. I think we can just kind of throw something out there. We can throw something out there to the ICMA if we get to that point, if we get that far. I think that, like I said, opening it up is, we're at the end of the contract. Okay, unless somebody wants to make a compelling argument that this city is running perfectly and we shouldn't even look outside of what we got currently. I mean, I'm not sure that argument can be made. okay? Like I said, I'm not here to embarrass anybody. What I'm saying is, I think we need to move forward, and I think I think Bob's done a very, very good job of calming the waters, but I don't think we've moved forward. And I think that that's something that we need to do. And Nancy, Commissioner, if, you know, you want to open up to everybody, I'm open to that. I just, like I said, I think that this position needs to be opened up. We need to see what's out there. And if we come to the same conclusion at the end of this, there's no harm, no foul. I'd like to take a look at some of the provisions in the contract. I think the contract, any city manager contract that we sign right now is pretty much ties our hands behind our back when we look at it. They have all the power, and we sit back. I think we've been more than generous with time. I think that, you know, most city manager contracts that we've signed, that you've signed since you've been here, Commissioner, have been 1 year. We opted for 2 because we did want to see continuity. We did want to see what this city manager could do and what skill set he brought to the table. At this time, I think it's incumbent on us to at least look and see what's going on. At the end of 2 years, people just don't say, hey, you know, Doug's doing a great job, just let him do it again. No, the people have to speak, and the people, you know, we have to there's an election that has to go on, right? I don't think it's any different for a contracted employee in the city, especially since we only have a couple, right? So, thanks.
Is there any public comment on this?
I have some comment,
Yes, sir.
if I may. I understand, you know, this is teamwork, and I've tried to work with each one of the commissioners and vice mayor and the mayor. Mayor's worked hand in hand with me for the last year since he's been elected. And I think one thing that we were bringing, as Commissioner Andrews said, is that, you know, there was continuity that we've had for 2 years. You know, we've gotten the respect out of the business community, the developers. We've had that stability. When they talk about stability in a manager's position, they're looking further than a 2-year milestone. You know, they're looking at taking it further down the path. You know, we've done a lot of innovative things here, looking at, you know, bringing Andrew on board to handle our finances as a contractual employee, not an employee, but as a contract basic as a consultant. So, you know, we've also looked at other things that tend to fit us better than other communities. And I think the outreach that we've conducted, plus the fact that for a year we've been under COVID and just trying to deal with government, you know, that's one of the things that has really helped, and the teamwork I've had from my staff as we progressed and getting the message out to the public and handling those problems that came up with as we struggled through a pandemic. So in reality, you know, if you take one of those years out, you know, we couldn't do the normal contact things that I like to do with the residents. You know, we couldn't do breakfast with Bob. We couldn't do live meetings for a while. Having that outreach, I think, is very important, not only for the commission, but for your city manager. And that's what I've tried hard to work on. You know, looking at an end date versus the benefit that we have to the city by having that continuity. You know, I've worked hard with the Chamber of Commerce's and these residents and the volunteer groups here. So again, I'm not going to go through a whole long list. You know, if you can just look at this as a situation that a contract ends at a period of time, and I totally understand. There is a successor contract that's out that I have discussed with the mayor, and you know, when that time comes, but you all have to make a decision whether you want to extend my agreement or not. I think opening it up, you know, I've been quite honest to you, you know, I've given my, you know, blood, sweat, and tears to this place, and to open it up and say, okay, now for the next 3 months or 2 months, you know, we're gonna go out and we're gonna do a search to see if we're gonna replace you or renew your contract. And in all honesty, you know, I've worked without a raise for 2 years because you all didn't want to bring it up. And I figured when that time comes within this commission, that you would say, okay, you're deserving of a 2% raise or a 3%, whatever, you know. But no, I stuck, you know, I thought we did the right thing in not going with raises at a period of time. And I kept that commitment. So, you know, I just hope that you can look at those things and the positives that we've been able to accomplish and the bridges that we built, and take that on, and at least give me the opportunity to take it on in the future. And that's all I've got to say.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion for the City of Madeira Beach not to extend the city manager's employment agreement, but certainly open it up, and we fully expect Bob Daniels to reapply.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Vice Mayor Price,
Yes.
Commissioner Andrews,
Yes.
Commissioner Hudson,
No.
Commissioner Hodges,
Yes.
Mayor Hendricks,
No.